watch that. Watch this.
Well, what do you mean by this? Oh, well, this is my channel. Welcome to it. And if you guys do really enjoy it, you can go in, you can click the share button. That really, really helps the algorithm. Go to Twitter, Facebook, Blogger. I don't even know what the crap that is. Reddit, all the stuff. So if you do love that, we also have a join button. You go in, you click a little join button. $4.99 a month. You get all the cool, awesome emojis. Now, enjoy the video. It is impossible to turn your brain off and just forget this is Star Trek. To divorce yourself from Star Trek when watching Lower Decks. Hello everyone, I am Becca Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube consumer advocate, Harpy, and yeah, whenever people tell me, every time they say, oh, it's not so bad if you just forget it's Star Trek. It's not so bad if you just enjoy it for what it is. And what it is a fast, irritating, loud, obnoxious, incompetent show that takes every opportunity it can to remind you that it is Star Trek. Don't believe me?
Oh, she's real. She's as real as a hopped-up Q on Captain Picard Day.
What? Captain Picard Day?
I'm I'm a role model.
I'm sure you are.
Oh, this is too sad. Hey, look, there's that Philosian and Tactical. She seems like a nice plant person. 1920 Chicago? Nobody's washing their hands.
That guy's like a Kirk Sunday with Trip Tucker sprinkles.
Romulan spy, or a salt succubus, or an android, or a changeling, or one of those sexy people in rompers that murders you just for going on the grass.
Whoa.
You hear what happened on the Enterprise? Apparently, Data's got an evil twin brother who teamed up with the Borg.
She's not an android, because that tone would have disrupted her positronic brain. Okay. So, Barb's not a Duffy, but I haven't ruled her out as a surgically altered Cardassian spy, or a transporter clone, or, bear with me, a Suliban. Right? A Suliban?
Ding! Because of the way you were lurking around all day, I thought you were a brain infiltrator. I got the password. It was Riker.
It's all tell this space station and calibrate the Dyson sphere. And go back in time and kill the guy that was worse than Hitler.
Its references have references. My brain shuts off and I just start counting the references. It's member berries have member berries. That's all this is. And then when you're just looking up some other reference that you may not have heard correctly, like, is that a Telosian or a Philosian? What is she talking about? Then they're off to another reference.
Remember Chewbacca again? Oh, I love to remember Chewbacca. Hey.
Just so you forget which reference may or may not be a thing. I think they throw those in there to trick people because there's a few of them. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. I don't remember. And there's even some non-canon stuff. All right, so you're trying to still convince me that I'm just supposed to ignore, because there's stuff in here I would really, really love as Star Trek. The main story. Do I have it? Yeah, I do. It looks cool. It looks like Star Trek. It feels like Star Trek for the most part. You know, you get captain's log. You get you're negotiating a treaty with all these fish people. My issue is that the captain here is so incompetent. So we have two plots. The A plot here is the fish people, sort of. They're more interesting. I actually kind of wanted to pay attention to what they were doing and had to say. So they basically, they need to save their planet by blowing up. I did lose interest because, like I said, there's so many references you kind of zone out. You turn your brain off and it's hard to pay attention to. So what really bothered me about this A plot, this first one, I guess it was a B plot because it's happening on the main bridge, you know, with the captain and the allegedly competent crew members, is that this one planet does not want to relocate. It's a very typical Star Trek colonization sort of, hey, we moved here and we're claiming this and we don't want to move, but, you know, so they have to kind of destroy a moon so that this species of purple sort of fish alien guys can survive. very Star Trek-y, except for the fact that they don't even bother to, like, scan the planet or the moon of the other people. So they're between a rock and a hard place. Do we destroy this and ruin these people's homes, or do we destroy this and ruin this civilization? And at the end of it, spoilers, I know full spoilers on this, there's only 2 people on the moon, so the captain's like, F it, blow it up, and she even swears, and they bleep it. Instead of, being competent in scanning and trying to negotiate and figure stuff out, they just use this aggressive, loud, annoying, over-the-top tag. It's Rick and Morty again. It's this loud Rick and Morty, loud, annoying. Oh, we're doing the shocking thing because lulls and reasons and science.
I like science.
Nobody asked you, Spock. And that's the other thing. They don't really, like, all the sciencey stuff that I want to look at in Star Trek is still just a side thing. And I know that's what we were kind of promised the lower decks. Like, what's the lower deck crew doing when all the big crew are off doing the main mission? And you can do that. They can really, really do that if they make these characters likable. Am I going to cry about these characters? No, I'm going to be very, very annoyed and upset and possibly bring out the writing crap because of how annoying and unlikable these characters are turning into. And now we get to this part. This is another one of the B plots, I assume. So there's 3 plots going on in this. I guess, even though I watched this 4 times, I guess we had another ship that we're working with in the negotiations for, like, the fish people and their plot. We're on the Vancouver now instead of the Cerritos with our 4 lower decks main cast crew members. It's supposed to be the same ship, but these 2 are geeking out over. I kind of like that. I kind of like their enthusiasm. Like, these 2 characters seem to be the most Starfleet of all of them. They seem to actually want to do their jobs, and they seem to actually be pretty competent for the most part, even though he cheats by using a cybernetic implant to speed things up. Their whole plot is going over and trying to help out this other ship to get some cool piece of technology. And it's a whole subversion. The guy who's in charge, like their lead officer or whatever, he's using them so that he can transfer over, so he can kind of grab them for this ship, because he wants to be on a ship where not as many cool and interesting things happen. And that's what we saw in the clip portion. How they ruined these 2 characters was by making them giant thieves at the end. And they blackmail the officer who's trying to trick them into transfer. It's just bad. It's just annoying and bad. It was hard to pay attention to. There's so many references. And you made the 2 characters who actually were halfway decent into people who blackmailed and stole from the other ship. Also, couldn't you just, I don't know, replicate those? Was there some rule where you couldn't? Did I miss that? Tell me in the comment section below if I did also.
Please like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, keep your comments to yourself.
Bree, that is no way to talk about my viewers. Maybe your own, but you know what? My viewers are always pretty nice, and if they're gonna troll me, then they're gonna get clapped back at. They ruined these characters by the end of this too. Now on to the main story. Oh, it's a doozy. It's a Boimler one. Boimler and just basically Mikey Spock 2.0. She's the exact same character. These two. So he's got a girlfriend on the other ship, and she doesn't believe she's real. Turns out Barb is very real. Barb's her name. She's a cute blonde. But this one here is convinced that there's no way anybody would ever like him at all unless they had a parasite. So you see her obsessed with this other girl, trying to figure out, oh, what does she have? Why is she interested in him? And they show her fail a little bit until they don't. They show her have some humility until they don't. And here's an opportunity where they would have had some serious opportunity to have some growth with this character. They just throw away. Oh yeah, the girlfriend of Boimler. She also has like a super cool sort of ex-boyfriend that Boimler's super duper jealous of. And he does a whole bunch of weird and cringe and odd and bizarre things to try and impress her that are really only hurting her. Like this. I don't know. I guess he replicated a combination of all of the coolest costumes or looks throughout the entire, 20th century, apparently, I guess. And now here's where it gets really, really annoying. Mariner here spends so much time of this episode just obsessed with trying to prove that this one's a parasite, right? That you could have some huge chance for growth. This is what I was talking about. You could have a chance for her to just be wrong and just to have a win for this guy and just have this girl be into him just because she likes and admires him and wants somebody like that and wants, just something. Give him a win. And they bond, and they're like total besties and everything over this. Barb ends up saying, oh yeah, just scan me if you really need to prove that I'm not a parasite. Mariner scans her. They do detect a parasite, but of course, because you can't have anything you can't have anybody have a win. Boimler's the one with the parasite. It's really cute too. I think he's adorable. He keeps calling Barb lover all the time. He's like, lover. It's kind of cute. I do kind of like that. I don't like that it just didn't have the win though. But she does end up leaving. Spoiler. She ends up leaving Boim to, I guess, study the little, because he produces this pheromone. Gee, just like Derulio in the Orville. So I guess she goes off to be with the parasite, I guess. Oh, come on, soundboard, Stream Deck controller, which is me. That only really was taboo because it was the symbiotes that were already previously married and doing the giggity. It wasn't anything to do with the and I'm going off on a tangent. That's how much I cared about this episode. It annoyed me. It didn't fix anything. It's still pretty much Rick and Morty Star Trek every time. I have no idea where my brain was with that clip. That's just where my brain goes when I have no interest in what I'm watching. And for everybody who says, oh, just turn your brain off and forget it's Star Trek, you can't. Every chance it gets, it tries to remind you that it's still Star Trek. But at the same time, it does everything it can to not be Star Trek. It does everything it can to be these Rick and Morty sort of characters with, and this is what I didn't like about Rick and Morty, and I'm not a fan of that anyway, so I can't just enjoy it as a cartoon. I could if they really, really gave these characters some wins who might deserve, like Boimler, he might deserve it, right? I want to root for these characters. I want to like these characters. And Green Tilly and Cyborg are liars and cheaters. The captain's incompetent and decides to blow up a moon instead of finding a third option. She blows it up anyway and is like, F you with the language. Which is fine. I mean, you can blow up the moon and if it saves billions and billions of people, that's fine. But they could have come to that conclusion a little sooner and a little less, I don't know, of a 14-year-old swearing because his mommy's away sort of way. That's what it feels like. That it just feels like anytime they swear in this, they do it because they can get away with it, because it's edgy and teens will like it. I don't need that in Star Trek. And if they gave me kind of a more serious, just give me the Orville as a cartoon, give me that. I could get behind that even, because you at least have something there that I would want to watch. And I would want to watch the Star Trek stories. I would want to watch these if they weren't so annoying about how these characters go. And this one was probably the least bad so far. 5 episodes in, though, they're still not fixing the main issues with this. And that is the fact that they're just incompetent at Star Trek, right? You got to get the Star Trek stuff right before you can kind of throw it out the window. You get the references sometimes right for the most part, and you get there's a lot of them. But a reference without context is just a reference, It is just a member berry, and it does not serve anything other than to distract people from how bad it is, or just to remind, like, okay, that's a little excessive. I lost count. How many dings went off? I can't even remember. I was going to put a ding counter. I just got too many to have the sound effect and the number every single time. And I'm learning the software still. So shout out to Rob from Minutes Edge for helping with that one. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am MechaRandom42. This is probably 4 out of 10, and that's what I gave the last one. But at least I had fun counting the references. 4 out of 10. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!
with me.